It's been so long. I feel it's an out of body experience. Okay. I didn't answer my question. As you pray. Because I want to buy them. Oh, I ain't worried about that. They just won't let you buy it without it. You're trying to make sure it wasn't on the screen. You could look on the screen and say it ain't on the screen. Good enough for it. All right. It's been some time. First and foremost, we want to give Call Halal Yahweh by Shin Yahweh Shai. That's all praise to the Most High God. In the name, His only begotten Son, who were ignorantly called Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai Mashiach in Hebrew. All right. My phone make it look like it got ashy elbows, so I'm mad at that right quick. Shalom, shalom, mashbukah, peace to the family. You know what I'm saying? Shabbat shalom, you guys. You know what I'm saying? You know, before we start anything, I just want to let everybody know, I want everybody to pray for the Sergeant Major Shamar Yashar from SD. You know, he had some surgery the other day. You know, he's going through it. It was about last year sometime, you know, brothers got hit with COVID. And what ended up happening is you might not have no major issue dealing with COVID, but then due to the COVID, it is now affecting other parts of your body, even when you don't have COVID. So he's been having like heart problems and chest problems ever since then. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's keep him in our prayers. You know, this stuff be real out here. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be mindful of those things. Yeah. T. All right. So it's been a while. We're gonna go into how people's understanding of Satan being bound for 1,000 years. You know, what the hell is that? You out here doing your own thing. Satan bound for 1,000 years, right? Right. So this ain't gonna be no long evening. You know, I know Chief got his own thing going on right now as well. We would always want y'all to tune into that. You know what I'm saying? You know, my lessons in classes are very practical and very chill. And, you know, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Right. So so let's go to Revelation 20. Go to Revelation 20. You know, so. Off mute. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. I was just informed that YouTube has we reached over 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank y'all for that. All praise to the Most High. And now they're giving us the option to super chat. Don't ask me how any of that worked, but it's there, whatever it is. But we're gonna go into Revelation 20. We're gonna break this down, get some understanding, and just do it like that. Listen, y'all either gonna man up or y'all gonna be flakes. Don't be flakes in this world. You know what I'm saying? Goofy. Bring it up. Yeah. Listen, man, the niggas come outside with firearms. They have to stop all that dumb stuff. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and verse 1. Let him get the way you got to get to.
Super chat is
That
working.
is weird. Go back at it. Listen, let's keep that $20 drive alive. Hey, I just want to say the water, the car for the super chat. Y'all want to switch over to the thug. Because I don't know where that money goes. I ain't got nothing set up. Where we at? Revelation 20.
They're gonna put it on your books.
I do everything on my phone, man. I don't know what none of that stuff is, man.
They'll put it on your books.
They'll probably tell me what it is in a month or so. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 1. Go ahead. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit Now, where is this bottomless pit? Right? Us in the SICARRI, we say the bottomless pit is Europe. Europa. Right? Okay, the water hope. Y'all about to the water for the super chat. Y'all about to show what thought. Yeah. So they say it's Europe. We say it's Europe, right? But why do we say that, right? We call it the bottomless pit because it's void of any real natural resources. You understand? Let me see. Let me read this. All right. Now I gotta talk to you. All right. So this is the National Geographic Encyclopedia entry for Europe's resources, right? So they'll tell you how. I mean, I guess I can just send you the link. Would you prefer that?
Is it similar right here?
Let me see. Yeah, that's it.
Bet.
Education. Yeah, kind of. See, because people will see it has this resource and that resource. Nah, man, listen. If you have trees, you can produce wood. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not be simple here, right? Watch this. So, mining and drilling. While they can all hear me still, right? While Europe is home to some of the world's largest mining companies, remember, it's home to some of the world's largest mining companies, it is not a major producer of metals. They don't produce the stuff, right? It's all import, then export. It's not export. You understand? They have to bring stuff in to make stuff and then send it off, right? Let's go down to like the go down to that third verse, that third paragraph right there. Europe has limited, right there. Europe has limited deposits of oil and natural gas, which are drilled for energy and fuel. Europe has limited deposits of oil and natural gas, which are drilled for energy and fuel. Right? Yeah. Like, there is no real natural resources. Right? Simple stuff like I said, wood, water, that's on land. That's just how it is. But to say you're digging for something and you're going to get the metals from the ground and you're going to get the oil from the... Come on. Europe don't got that, right? So that's why Europe is called the bottomless pit. Go back. Right.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit.
Bottomless pit, which is Europe. Go ahead.
And a great chain in his hand.
And a great chain in his hand. Read.
And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
1,000 years. That dragon is the Roman Empire. But being bound for 1,000 years Let's get to the chat. Let's see what they say. When was this binding for 1,000 years? What time frame was that? What time period was that? What was that time period called? Huh?
Dark Age.
Yes, sir. The Dark Ages. Right? Right? So there's a time, there's a period in time. Let's see. Let's see. Listen, the Dark Ages. What happened during the Dark Ages? The Dark Ages occurred from 500 CE, Christ existed, to 1000 CE in Western Europe. It began with the fall of the Roman Empire and ended with the start of the Renaissance. What does Renaissance mean? What?
Renew.
No. Read what?
Rebirth.
Reborn.
Rebirth.
Y'all just taking that from her?
Re-
Yes.
It's not saying it.
It's-
I'm gonna help her.
I was hoping she was gonna get it. She had the reverse.
You know what it is.
Reverb.
You said it wrong.
Yeah.
Reverb.
Yeah. I know. The rebirth.
Rebirth.
Yeah. Renaissance means rebirth. Khan, the water, Sataya. Eat that super channel live. Y'all listen to what Khan. The rebirth. All right. That's what that is. The rebirth. Khan, 400 to 1400, right? Now watch. Now watch. Now watch. The Mali Empire was an empire in West Africa from 1235 to 1670, right? That's from 400 to 1400, then 1235 to 1670. Now, with these overlapping time frames, you'll understand that you had Israelites in West Africa, you had Israelites in Europe. You understand? So you had us in all these different places, right? And this is after the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD. You got to understand that. That's why you can see us in the interiors of Africa as well as in Europe. You understand? Con. All right. So if everybody ever looking at the Catalan Atlas of 1370, 75? Who said that? That's you? Come on. Hold on. Let me look at it. (1312) to 1337-ish. So maybe 1345, right? But that's the Mali Empire in Timbuktu and such, right? And if you look at the image, you'll see a man at the very bottom of the atlas, because that's what it was called. It was called the Catalan Atlas. And that was supposed to be King Mansa Musa, right, of the Mali Empire, who was recorded as the richest man ever, right? He would travel from country to country with his caravan of people, and he would go, and when he'd see something he wanted, he'd buy it. So he would see a house, I want that. See this, I want that. When you look at the Catalan Atlas, pull that up, Babu Kushab. When you look at the Catalan Atlas, you'll see that the king had a scepter in his hand. And on that scepter, yeah, Catalan Atlas, Khan. Let me just Khan, I'll put it. Yeah, you can click that. Yeah, click the one not to right. Right there, right there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. All right. All right. That's the Catalan Atlas, right? And if you can see, the man has a beard, and as you can see, you see that nugget in his hand. That's supposed to be a gold nugget, right? That's like you gotta understand. There's so much gold in Africa. Like running that whole area, he was just the richest man ever, right? Before him, it was King Solomon. You know what I'm saying? But that's the Judite right there. You understand? The Mali Empire. So let's get back to the verse because as it says, Satan would be bound for 1,000 years. Now, during that 1,000 years, pull up the images that Quadak has sent you, Baba Kusha. During those 1,000 years, when we were ruling Europe and Africa, or West Africa for the most part, during that time, you had what they would call the Moors, right? So you might say to yourself, well, you have last names like Morrison, Morris, you know what I'm saying? These are all names that came from the Moors. You understand? Just like when dealing with being a free man, you had people like let's say Morgan Freeman was a man from back then. He usually took on that name because he was now a free man and he wasn't going to take on his slave master's last name no more. You understand? So yeah, man, I might be rambling. Apologize, but yeah, when you get to that, you know. I'm waiting for you to put it on the share screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there you go. Right? Now, as you can see, you had black nobility, right? Nobility, which is rulership, right? A monarchy. You understand? A monarchy is when a king or queen rules. You understand? It's not a dictatorship. It's not a democracy. It's a monarchy, right? So we had, when you see a lot of the crests for like Germany, Russia, France, Italy, you would see those images, right? You would see stuff like that. You understand? Right? He's just gonna keep showing y'all a bunch of different photos. Yeah. So this is from a book called Nature Knows No Color Line. Do me a favor, Quadash, Baba Kusha, officer. Toss me that book, Baba Kusha. The water. Right? This is a book called Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. Now, don't go nowhere yet. If you can, well, if they can see this, then let them see that. Okay, come. So this is the book that those images are in. These images that you see in, this is the book that it's in, right? And what is it saying? We were never racist. We were never about color. We were never walking around like, oh, you're white or you're pale. You're the words that are, we never move like that. That's why it says nature knows no color line, because that's not what we were into. We were all about, we're royalty and y'all are not. That's just what it is. So you can look at all these different places. You see that? Put that back up. You see that say more
in coat.
More in coat? That has to be German. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Schwartz.
More, M-O-H-R. You understand? Like more, right? That's Germany and Portugal. These are crests that we had in Germany and Portugal. All right. So that's Germany and Portugal.
This one says British families, the Moors of Yorkshire.
The Moors of Yorkshire, including Sir Thomas More, M-O-R-E. You know what I'm saying? Like the spelling, it was never about how you spelt it. It was always about the name. You understand? That's why you can see Lyles, but then you might see L-I-L-E-S or L-I, I don't know, L-Y-L-E-S. There's only two ways I can see it. You know what I'm saying? That would make sense to me. Do not put my name in Google file. You know what I'm saying? I see a whole nother world. Yeah. All right. So these are, let's put the camera back on. These are from Central America. No, Central Europe, right? Central Europe. Families with names of Negro origin: Upper, Holland, Center, Middle, Portuguese, the other, German, Morin, Moor, Morels. Listen. Moris. Listen, they knew the Moors were Negroes. They knew that. German families with names of Negro origin. Yard, there's a picture of something and it has a description on the bottom of it. What that the coats of arms of Holland's noble Moorish family. Top one at the left. Yeah, that one. Now watch the etymology of the word Moor. North African Berber, one of the race dwelling in Barbary, late 14th century. From Old French, Moor, M-O-R-E, from medieval Latin, Morus, M-O-R-U-S. This is etymonline.com, just so y'all know. You know, we cite references around here, Garfield. So, from Latin, Morus, inhabitant of Mauritania. Yeah. Roman Northwest Africa, a region, yeah, put it in there. M-O-O-R. Yeah. And that'll probably be the third one. Right there. Yeah. Right. From Greek, Morus, M-A-U-R-O-S, perhaps a native name, or else cognate with Morus, M-O-U-R-O-S, black, but this adjective only appears in late Greek and may as well be from the people's name as the reverse. Also applied to the Arabic conquerors of Spain being dark people in relation to Europeans. Their name in the Middle Ages was a synonym for Negro. Late 16th century, 17th century, being the nearest Muslims to Western Europe. Once again, just because we were in charge didn't mean we were in order. You understand? Satan just had to be bound for 1,000 years. That's all that was. So people be like, that's why when you talk about things like this, it just opens doors for more stuff to talk about. But we're gonna stick to what we're talking about now. So it was used indiscriminately of Muslims, Persians, Arabs, etc., but especially those in India, cognate with Dutch Moor, German Moor, Danish Moor, Spanish Moro, Italian Moro, related to Morris. Right? Right. Okay. So, so yeah, that's more. Right. Go ahead. Just make sure you're loud so you can hear you.
You know the Austrian composer Beethoven, right? They called him the Spaniard because his mother was dark.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like you said, Spaniard was a term a lot of the Western Europeans gave to the Moors, to the dark people.
Because the first place they took over was Spain.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
That's why some niggas say Beethoven was black.
Of course. Yeah. You know, now all of a sudden now we feel like we doing iconoclasm.
But Mozart did steal his stuff from a Benjamite.
Yeah.
From the islands. That's for sure. He was Jack and B. It was like Eminem.
Yeah. So,
Hey.
All right. Yeah, the key to the bottomless pit. Let me get Daniel 7 and 18. Before you read that, you ain't gotta go nowhere. I want him to read Revelation 20 and
it's right here.
And 1 again. Okay.
Okay. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand.
Keep reading.
Good Lord God. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil.
This is the Roman Empire. Go ahead.
And Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
Now, this is what happens. They say this happens, and now we're supposed to be in the kingdom type stuff. Like after this, then what? After this, then this, then this. You know what I'm saying? So we go to Daniel 7. But you gonna ask the question?
Oh, so like in Christianity they say that, or what do you mean?
Yes, and maybe some Israelites because they still do with Christianity too. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Daniel 7 and 18.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
But we're going to take the kingdom and what?
And possess the kingdom forever.
For what?
And possess the kingdom forever. Even forever and ever.
Even forever and ever. Okay. When you see the word forever one time, that's literally talking about for a time period. For a period of time. Right? Now, we believe that we would inherit the heathen forever, right? But guess what? That's only for a time period. Why? Because all the captivities we go through, and then we're gonna die out of this when all of this is destroyed, right? So that's when we won't have them again anyways. That's why it says forever one time. When you read this and it says forever and even forever and ever, that's talking about forever. Ain't no stop. All gas, no brakes. Forever and ever and ever, amen. So be it. That's what that's talking about. Read that verse again.
God. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Even forever and ever. So that hasn't happened yet, right? Let's get back to Revelation 20.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and verse 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more.
Now, what was happening? They weren't deceiving the nations no more, but who was? Who was, Kashaf? Who was deceiving the nations at this time? Since the so-called white man was in subjection, he didn't have no power to be deceiving nobody. Who was empowered to deceive people? Huh?
Us.
Yeah. Us. We out here to see, we practicing Islam. And guess what? Remember, Northern Kingdom over here chopping niggas' heads down the pyramid. Talking about they came over here to practice their laws. You know what I'm saying? But that's what was going on. We started Catholicism, not the white man. I know you remember hearing that. We started Catholicism. We wrote the Talmud. I want y'all to know that. In Babylon, we wrote the Talmud. That stuff when we read today, we be like, that shit weird. That's wicked. We wrote that.
The Briss.
Yeah. Little baby chop. We wrote all that. Yeah. Why? Because we're wicked.
Niggas was going off.
If we're not following the law, we're going to be wicked. That's it. You either going to keep the law or you're going to be wicked. Listen, you say why like that. For some reason, we forget these two supposed Benjamites tried to rape an angel. Do we believe that's who they were in the Bible? We don't know. We don't know. But they were living in that area or region or something, weird stuff or something. But that's the reality of it. We've been wicked. And the only way we stop being wicked is we return to the Most High. But when we return to the Most High, we get back on the right path. And then years and generations down the line, we right back at it again. More nigga them. More nigga them, y'all. It's crazy, bro. Right back at it. So, continue.
God. Verse 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled.
Till the 1,000 years be fulfilled. Right? And when was that 1,000 years fulfilled? That's the beginning of the Renaissance, the rebirth. That's when the so-called white man went right back into power again. Right? Go ahead.
And after that, he must be loose a little season.
So what you got right now is that little season. See, remember, a day unto the Most High is 1,000 years to us. We supposed to be saved on the third day. See how that works? People expecting something to happen tomorrow, and it's like, nah, we have a little bit of time here. But guess what? knowing you have that time, every day you should be working on you. If the Most High bless you with air in your lungs, why not try your best to do better every day? You don't owe it to anybody but the Most High, especially because he took you out of the darkness and brought you into his marvelous light. Read that, Revelation 12 and 12.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore,
that's what you want to read? Go ahead.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, that ye that dwell in them, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Go ahead.
And of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath.
Listen, he was taken out of that rulership position for so long, and now he back with a vengeance. We've been going through this for less than 1,000 years. We were ruling Europe for 1,000 years. We've been going through this hell for less than 1,000 years. Remember that. Go ahead.
Because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
He only got a short time. Go back to Revelation 20. That's what it's talking about. He got but a short time. So he's trying to put as much work in it as he can. Go.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus.
Now watch. You see, read that again.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them.
Read 3 and then go to 4.
And cast them into the bottomless pit, and shut them up, and set a seal upon them, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
He must be loose for a little season, right? Go ahead. And this is after the 1,000 years that he was in bondage. Go ahead.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus.
Now watch, it says, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them. Who was the they? Kasha? No. Remember, they've been let loose.
Yeah, oppressors, man.
You know what I'm saying? Now he see thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, right? And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh. Go ahead, read. My bad.
And for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast.
Which didn't worship the beast.
Neither his image.
Neither his image, read.
Neither had received his mark upon their forehead.
That charagma, that imprint, that impalement,
or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years.
Now this is another 1,000 years. This is after we're out of everything. You understand? This is after we out the shits, right? So Satan was bound for 1,000 years. All that stuff that they were dealing with, the so-called white man, they were bound for 1,000 years. They get out of that bondage. Now they reckon shop for a period of time. Now what's going to happen after that is when Christ returns, whoever's of the 144,000 is going to reign with Christ in righteousness. All right. They had the power to judge us and behead us for following Yahweh Yahushua Khan. What else you think he beat, boy? Yeah. All right. So back to Revelation 20.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 5. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished.
Now what happens now? The rest of the dead did not live again until the 1,000 years were finished. Who was the rest of the dead? Those that were destroyed of Israel, right? Now what happens next? After the 1,000 years, now we're bringing forth our offspring, or they're bringing forth the offspring, which is the rest of Israel, right?
This is the first resurrection.
That's the first resurrection, right? Go ahead.
Blessed and holy is he.
Now watch. Where you at?
Verse 6.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power.
What was the first resurrection? Kashat. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna always keep calling on you because that's just what I want to do. What's up? What is it? The first resurrection is our second Exodus. Being saved out of here is our first resurrection. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 6. Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection.
Which is the second Exodus, which is being saved out of captivity. Right? Remember, that's the first Exodus. We're talking about the second Exodus. Go ahead.
On such the second death have no power.
Why? Because you're saved out of here. So the second death ain't gonna have no power. What's the first death? Kadash? The flood is the first death, right? The second death is what, Kashat? Kadash. What's the second death, Kashat? Yes, sir. All praises. The second death is the fire. You got fire. You got flame. Right? Go ahead.
On such the second death have no power. But they shall be priests of God and of Christ. And shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Reign with him 1,000 years. Now, we're about to get to the next verse. Hold on.
Verse 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations.
After that 1,000 years, he should be loose and go out to deceive the nations. Go ahead.
Which are in the four quarters of the earth. Gog and Magog.
And shall go to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Read that again.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle,
gather Gog and Magog together to battle. Battle against who? Israel. Right? Go ahead.
The number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
How do we know it's talking about Israel, Kashak? What's the key word that you see there in that verse?
The sand of the sea.
Yes, sir. Right? To whom is as the sand of the sea. Letting you know what we're talking about is about who it is that is the sand of the sea. You know what I'm saying? And we know that's Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth.
The breath.
The breadth of the breadth of the earth.
It means the width. The width. The full
that
span.
That old English killing him, boy.
The nigga said breaded.
Hungry lion.
My pocket is breaded up.
Bread.
And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city.
Mm-hmm.
And fire came down from God out of heaven
Mm-hmm.
and devoured them.
And devoured them. Read.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone.
Yeah. That devil is going to be brought all the way over this side and dropped into that lake of fire. Right? Go ahead.
Where the beast and the false prophet are,
Mm-hmm.
and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
Forever and ever, right? All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Verse 11. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away. And
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. Hold on. Keep reading. We're just gonna read the whole chapter.
Come. Verse 11. And I saw a great white throne.
Yeah, the second death is the missiles. The missiles brings the fire. Hence, thermonuclear destruction will be the second death. The first death is the flood. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. Oh, time. Tie on the grade, huh? Y'all gotta chill, man. Yeah, the ICBMs, man, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Go ahead.
God. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away.
Uh-huh.
And there was found no place for them.
Read.
And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened,
Mm-hmm.
which is the book of life.
The book of life, right?
And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works.
Read that again.
And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life.
Now watch. Exodus 32 and 33. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. That's Exodus 32 and 33. Of him will I blot out of my book. Karaz, what do you mean? What do you mean? What verse is that? That he talking about? Resurrection.
The first resurrection.
Nah. Like I said, the first resurrection is it's the second Exodus.
It's the rebirth of the kingdom.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead. What was he at? First one. Hold on. Good scriptures. Where we at?
Verse 12.
I got lost. Whenever y'all get a chance, y'all should read Isaiah 29. You know, and y'all should just read up on that. Well, where we at?
Revelation 20 and verse 12.
Come.
Isaiah 29 talking about them from the east, from the west, and from the east.
I'm gonna give you a snippet. Verse 10. Isaiah 29 and 10. For the Lord had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers hath he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. The vision is come unto you like a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Wherefore the Lord saith, for as much as the people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. Instead of truly just fearing the Most High, now we're just afraid because of what some man told you. Right? Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work amongst this people, even a marvelous work with a wonder and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the works say of him that made it, he made me not. And shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. When he put it all together. When he framed it. Anyways. This is a good chapter. Verse 18. And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of its obscurity and out of darkness. Y'all understand what that's talking about? That's now. You understand? What was the gospel? To give sight to the blind. You understand? So,
to the meek.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, this is like a whole circle. Just keep going around and running around. All right, where we at? At a Revelation? Yeah. But I think it was Isaiah. Was it Isaiah 33 and 32 that we had read a second ago?
Exodus. It was
Exodus.
Exodus, yeah.
Exodus.
Get that again, Baba Bashar?
32 and 33.
32 and 33? Oh, he right now.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 32, and verse 33. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever have sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book.
Uh-huh. Now go back to Revelation.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works.
Mm-hmm.
And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them.
Remember, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it. right? And and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. Go ahead.
God. Verse 14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire.
What's that lake of fire? The ICBM missiles, that fire, right? Go ahead.
This is the second death.
That's the second death. Finish it.
And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
Con. So that was, Satan bound for 1,000 years. Just wanted to make sure y'all got understanding on that, so y'all didn't get it mixed up because somebody else said some weirdo stuff and now y'all don't know what's going on. Once again, it is my pleasure. Con. The water again, Hope. All right, the water, the car. You know what I'm saying? You say LBCSF. You're you have mixed feelings right now, buddy. They're funny. Yeah. So don't forget, get your wise and harmless gear from Gaza. You know what I'm saying? You can find them on 1016 Clothing on Instagram. We also got Kodash over here. He makes the marvelous staffs. Y'all need to go check those out. I don't know his Instagram handle, but if you got a hold of me, Bazak Baria, y'all need to
Kodash SICARRI. You don't know.
It's Bazak SICARRI. Anyway, it's Kodash SICARRI, QADASH SICARRI, SICARII. And please, if you're a SICARRI member, you gotta learn how to spell it. You got to. You're killing me. Right? Yeah, man. Anytime Karaz, man. Anytime Karaz. You know what I'm saying? Listen, most high willing, you could show her this video. I ain't cursed nobody. I ain't said nothing messed up. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get monetized. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody trying to stir up the pot. I know they're gonna look at this video and be like, is he high? No, I'm not high. Did not drink nothing today. This is just how my messed up face looks. All right. Yeah, man. Brothers still make tassels. You know what I'm saying? The brother Dakar, you know what I'm saying? He makes tassels as well. That's the Dakar SFLBC. You know what I'm saying? What do you say? I need one of those stamps. Con. Just don't do that emoji at the end of saying that, though. Just like, what was that emoji? Like, drool out the session. All right, listen. We have fun. We talk our stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Tyon great.
Didn't Tyron say he needed some Zeeks?
Nah, he ain't tell me that. Tyon, if you need a Zeeks, man, message me on the humble. Outside of that, man, don't forget, man, you know what I'm saying? It's always love. Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. If you decide to do anything like that, it don't make no difference to me. Most high willing, we can continue doing these classes. And
Super chat.
Yeah, and super chat.
Chat, super thanks.
Super thanks.
After video is already posted, you can super thanks.
Super edification.
Super sticker.
Don't let Cyberpunk you out of using emojis. Listen. Not the duck. I'm waiting for the duck emoji. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Y'all D out thug, there's a low. It's always love around here. And with that, I want to say, call Yahweh, Bashim Mashek Yahushai, Shalom.
Shalom.